Hey guys, welcome back to Carsonian Memes, and welcome back to Carsonian Memes. Today we're going to be talking about the top 5 teams that will take the biggest steps up in 2020 from 2019. And this is a pretty, I'm pretty excited to make this video. I don't think many other people are making this, and I'm feeling pretty good about it. So, top 5 teams that'll take the biggest steps. These are the teams who last year either weren't very good or just weren't good as compared to what they are now. Like, maybe they were okay, but now they're great. There's a lot of people who are going to take steps up. So, let's go ahead. I know it. As always, got my notes. I don't do these. I've always got notes. Just thought I should always say that. So, and these are in no particular order. These are just 5 teams that are take big steps up. Alright, so first team we're going to be talking about are the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts, of course, they've gone from Jacoby Brissett to Philip Rivers. No matter how much you hate Philip Rivers, you have to admit Jacoby Brissett is worse than Philip Rivers. It is just a fact. He was a pretty formidable starting quarterback, actually. Might be his last starting gig, but still. I mean, their running backs, they added Jonathan Taylor, the rookie, and then they already had Marlon Mack. That's really going to step things up. And then they also go out and get Michael Pittman as a wide receiver. And then they also have T.Y. Hilton on there. Those are 2 great targets. And then you send Philip Rivers in here, and he's got Marlon Mack. He's got Michael Pittman. And I think, honestly, he might play better than he did on the Chargers just because I think they have more weapons and they have a better all-around team than the Chargers. Alright? And also on the defensive line, they've got DeForest Buckner. On their linebackers, they've got Darius Leonard. They've got Bobby Okereke. They've got a great front 7 that's really going to make it hard for anybody to run the ball. And also, they've got Malik Hooker in that secondary. Rock Ya-Sin. Their defense is pretty stacked, and then you add Philip Rivers to their offense. They went 7-9 with Jacoby Brissett, and then they add on Philip Rivers, who's better than Jacoby Brissett. They add on Jonathan Taylor. Now they've got 2 great running backs. They add on Michael Pittman. This team, if you had Jacoby Brissett as their starting quarterback this year, they would be better than 7-9 this year. You have Philip Rivers. They might go 10-6. They might go 9-7, 11-5 in that range. They're a very good team. Alright, compared to what they did last year, which was their quarterback retired 2 weeks before the season starts, so now they use their backup quarterback and they fumbled to a 7-9. This year they got everything figured out, and Philip Rivers, he went to their team probably before all this lockdown stuff happened, I'm pretty sure. So, no. He got pretty early in preseason, so he's probably got everything down. Moving on to the second team. This one's pretty obvious. You probably expected these the moment that you clicked on the video. Of course, we got the Buccaneers on here. They add Tom Brady. They add Rob Gronkowski, who he hasn't played in a year, and for all we know, he didn't get in shape, but he is an amazing tight end no matter what. Obviously, they're not just gonna Rob Gronkowski, you were so good for the Patriots. They obviously probably had him come work out for them, and they said, all right, he looks good, we want him. They've got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin on that wide receiver unit. Talk about an upgrade from the Patriots. He's going to have Tom Brady is going to have many more receivers. Think about it. Last year he had nobody. He had Julian Edelman and N'Keal Harry. That's it. Now he's got Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Rob Gronkowski. You can't really argue with that. Already on 2 pages. Then let's move on to their defense. You got Ndamukong Suh on their defensive line. Antoine Winfield on that secondary. That's a pretty good. They're gonna definitely be more offensive based. Which is going to be good because a lot of teams are mainly defense this year. This is going to be probably a lot of low-scoring games. Also they got Jordan Whitehead on that secondary. They're pretty good. Their safeties are very good. All right, moving on to the third team, we have the Cincinnati Bengals on this. We got I mean, they've got their running back, of course, they got Joe Mixon, they've got A.J. Green, they got Tyler Boyd. They go out and they add T. Higgins. Of course, they get Joe Burrow, a huge step up from Andy Dalton and, Ryan Finley, who at one point, after they got rid of Andy Dalton and before the draft, Ryan Finley was their starting quarterback. It's kind of sad when you think about it. I mean, he looked okay when he played for them last year, but still. Also, you gotta look at that defense. They got Carlos Dunlap, Jesse Bates. They're gonna be pretty good. Now again, they're not gonna be great, but they're not gonna go 2-14. They might go 6-10. That would be a huge step up for them. All right, moving on to the fourth team. Only 2 more to go. We have the Arizona Cardinals. All right, this of course, I mean. They're probably not going to take. I mean, they were 5-10-1 last year. They're probably going to go like 8-8, 9-7 this year. That's a pretty big step up. And I mean, they've got Kenyon Drake on that running back. They made the steal of the decade. They traded David Johnson for DeAndre Hopkins, who's arguably the best wide receiver. In the whole league, and they've already got Larry Fitzgerald on there, who has been good for so long, and he is stuck by them through the worst stuff, and he's always been there. All right, I mean, and then let's move on to the defense. We have also Kyler Murray. Before we leave the defense, I forgot Kyler Murray. He looked pretty good last year, and then you had DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, he's gonna be so much, but plus he was a rookie last year, so this team is definitely going to get better. Now let's look at their defense. They got Isaiah Simmons. In my opinion, they got him later than I thought he was going to go. That was a very good steal, and they got Chandler Jones. I mean, that front 7 is spectacular. Not to mention, in that secondary, Budda Baker. He's good. Patrick Peterson, right? Yes. They are going to be very, very good on both sides of the ball. Probably, they could make the playoffs, and we've seen them make a run. They could make the Super Bowl. I mean, of course, any team could, but still. And the last team we're going to talk about is a team you probably didn't expect. You might expect this in the other video. I'm, of course, going to make top 5 teams taking a step back. Of course, I'm going to make that video. We got the Los Angeles Rams on this. I mean, look, this is a surprise. You might think, oh, they got rid of Todd Gurley. What could you possibly have? That Darrell Henderson looked great. When he has play time, when he actually gets a lot of snaps, he looks great. And obviously with Todd Gurley gone, he is their number 1 running back, and they wouldn't make him their number 1 running back if they didn't think he was a good running back. Also, you got Cooper Kupp on that wide receiver unit. And Jared Goff's probably going to take a step up this year, in my opinion. So right now they didn't really add anything new to the offense. They got Darrell Henderson in there, who is very good. He definitely could fill the void that Todd Gurley is, of course, leaving on this team. Could even take over for him. Of course, that's what he's going to do, but he could become the next Todd Gurley. All right. And also, they've got Tyler Higbee as a tight end. So Jared Goff, he's still got the weapons. He's got a solid offense, and I think he's going to take a step back up. Not as good as he was 2 or 3 years ago, of course, but he's still going to take a step up. Oh, it was just 2 years ago. All right, so he had a down year, but who cares about that? All right, and then moving on to defense, of course, you can't talk about their defense unless you talk about Aaron Donald. Whenever I did my best player for every position, he was, I think, he was very, very close to being the best defensive lineman. I think Cameron Hayward ended up being the best defensive lineman, but he is really up there. He very easily could beat Cameron Hayward in some kind of defensive lineman competition. And then you look in that cornerback, not safety unit, secondary unit, and you got Jalen Ramsey in there cleaning up. Get that out of here. That's spectacular. So, thank you guys so much for watching. Also, I know, as you can see, look at this. I got a desk. Wow, so amazing. In the corner over here, you can kind of see something hanging up. Right? There's going to be something hanging up here. shelves, Funko Pops. I'm telling you, it's not just gonna be a white wall, okay? I've been doing a squat this whole video. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think the top 5 teams are going to take a step up. Either comment it, send it to me on Twitter, send it to me on Instagram, send it to me on Patreon. I'm trying to start a podcast. You want to hear more of me? Instead of doing it in little video format, just talk about football. Just sit down and talk about football. Well, I'm starting a Patreon so I can try to so I don't have a job. Okay, so yeah, thank you guys again so much for watching. I really do appreciate the fact that you sat down and you watched over 11 minutes of me sitting here talking. I honestly very do much appreciate it. So yeah, I hope you. I mean, I already said it. There's gonna be top 5 teams taking a step down. After that, who knows? I mean, I'm gonna find some other video topic, and then when the video starts, I have a whole other video I'm gonna do then. And I'm doing updated predictions every single day. I will see you guys in the next one. I better see you. Thank you.